we go.
There we go.
All right, guys. So good morning. Like always, we'll do a brief market outlook, go over some top ideas. I picked a couple of shakes, ideas from the shakedown. We'll go over a couple winners, and of course, the ideas you guys want to go over. Starting off with the strongest sectors, we have utilities. Continuing to hit new all-time highs. A little bit of red flag. Again, utilities are kind of the risk-off sector. When this sector is breaking out, it should be, we should proceed with a little bit of caution. We're seeing consumer staples retesting their prior all-time high. This is kind of a time to be a little more defensive and hold the position. And for now, like a proper stop could be under 200, just so you don't trade it too perfectly. But this is kind of the taking profits area, as we've seen many times before. Energy continues to be very strong. We really want to fight the trend. For now, looking to add up through this bull flag seems to be the move until this downtrend breaks. We just want to follow the trend that it's been on. Healthcare is a little bit behind, like the consumer staples, where we can see the staples here have completely retested and took out their prior all-time high, where healthcare is kind of like in second place if they were in like the same race to the retest. So it's very close to retest. We had a pretty good entry a week ago, and we want to just keep aware that when we get back near these major resistance levels, could be time to take some profits. Moving on to some sectors that are setting up. We see the material sector, who has had a couple attempts here at this major resistance level. You can see these attempts here, and it just continues to set up where we do want to take profits on the retest, like we saw with consumer staples and health, and we should see with healthcare, which is kind of like this area of materials. And now it continues to get up there, and eventually we'll want to add up through this 198 level in time as it continues to form this flag. But for now, it's just still setting up. We're seeing the REIT sector as well continuing to kind of flag here after breaking out of its little base, and again should kind of follow suit with what healthcare and consumer staples have been doing as it works its way towards this retest. Some of the weaker sectors we want to continue to avoid. Telecom, which is really a sector we are never really trained to begin with, but it continues to stay in this breakdown stage, which is purely an avoid, along with biotech, same thing, very obvious breakdown stage. And the material sector, the industrial sector also is kind of following suit in this overall, kind of downtrend. So these are three we want to avoid. And then just broadly, we always want to talk about this SPY. At some point, we can just see that we're pretty much in this, 50-point or, 40-point range in the SPY, where as much as we want to buy the world up here, this is when we want to be thinking to take profits for now. And when everything looks like crap, that's kind of what we want to be looking to buy up off the support. So for now, we're kind of in the middle of no man's land right now, until we kind of get near like 430, 420, this range we're going to be in. That's kind of what we want to put on risk. Kind of here in the middle of this kind of chop is kind of, again, it's no man's land. But individually, there are a ton of setups out there separate from just kind of the broad market. So a few that I'm keeping an eye on. A couple of REIT names. We have this ESS. And again, we talked about the REIT sector that it's, it broke out of its base, it is flagging, and it's kind of in the middle of its relative range, where this REIT name from a relevant strength is near its pretty much all-time high, where if the REITs continue to get bid up, this should be one of the first ones to go, because it's already showing it's ahead of the sector itself. So I do have a buy stop in this up through this blue sky breakout through 360. Looking at this OKE energy name, again, we talked about energy still flagging, looking very strong. Very tight risk, tight little flag up here up through this 72 or 69. SCE continues to set up for this blue sky breakout through 70. We wait on that one. This one not too enthused, just given that it, if it was to go today, this would probably be a pass, but in time through 70s looks pretty good. IT, we can see this pretty obvious base that's been forming for all of 2022. And for me, I'll be looking to add up through this 308 for now versus this 288 area. Lastly is this TSCO, which does not want to come up right now. Sorry, guys. All right. TSCO, another blue sky breakout. But again, same thing as this is third. This will be fourth. If this goes today, like Monday morning, I'm not going to be buying this, but if this can develop, this is what I'm keeping a pretty close eye on. Few that Shake have, and then Heaven, you can jump in. He's looking at this MMA, another REIT name, I believe through this like 217 area. We have this GD. He's also looking at up through this like 246. See this little flag forming. You can see, the pretty obvious higher lows, all good signs. This EQR, again, another REIT name. I also have an order in for this as well, up through this 93 versus 90. Same thing with that ESS. Both of these names are much more relatively stronger than the REIT sector itself, given where it's trading at. So these are two names that if the REITs are continue towards its retest, these would be two we would probably expect to kind of lead the charge there. Another one he was keeping an eye on was this KBR. I believe also Pusher was looking at this one as well. He was talking this one on Friday. Again, up to this 56, and time looks really good. A couple big winners from last week. This CI, which is an outflow up to this 247, continues to work very well. Humana, I remember even Abby was looking at this one a few weeks ago, working very nicely. And CAH, we've had two pretty nice trades in this name so far. So some good winners from last week. And now, Heaven, if you want to jump in.
Yeah, definitely. That EQR is probably one of my favorites. That one I found like last week, and it's just funny to see so many people mention it. Plus, it's on the shakedown. Plus, it's on the big picture. So it's kind of all these layers of probability. So that's a really nice one. One that some that I found that maybe weren't on everyone's list. PECO. CO. Okay. Yeah. Another REIT real estate name. Third time at this major level. If you kind of give it like a diagonal line from that high back in January, but forming a nice little flag there. Pretty tight risk, about $1.40 risk if you're going 35.50 versus 34. So I really like that one. Another one that I like that's just kind of showing a little more relative strength than some of these other tech names is this Zendesk. Still needs a little more time to flag out here, but if it can hold up while everything else is falling, I would expect this one to really push when tech turns back around, when that eventually happens. I still got a bunch, but there's like other people that have mentioned some others, so we'll just go right into some member ideas. Win has a few, so he's looking at PRCT 36. What do you think of this one, Ben?
I definitely see what he's looking at. It's just tough because these IPOs, it's like they really want to get going, like up to these highs.
Yeah.
Where this kind of reminds you a little bit like Humana, where again, I was like, maybe this is a pass, so it gets up here, but there was this trade in this. So, what was the ticker again?
PRCT.
PRCT. So again, I could see, definitely what he's looking at there. You just have to be aware that you're buying 36, your real out's going to be 31, 32. So just be aware that you're going to be risking at least 10% going into this. And if you're risking 10%, 50% move from here is going to be, back to, probably this $50 area, 55. So just that overall risk might be a little too much for now, but if you could tighten up where you can buy 36 and realistically risk $1 or $2, maybe having to give it 3 or 4 might be too much, kind of just dead smack in the middle of where it's at right now.
Yeah, I agree. Next one he has is NOV 21/2150 area.
Yeah, I mean, it's oil name definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if you zoom out, it kind of it looked good, and then I zoomed out. I was like, ooh, maybe not.
Yeah, so this is like if we're talking about energy, that is, we're okay. So before we were talking about like REITs, so really quick, so we got REITs. Let me go back to the daily. All this. All right, so REITs, middle of its range. Talking about relevant strength. This is the high, this is the low, dead smack in the middle. We're looking at ESS near highs. We're looking at Shake's name, EQR, another REIT name, near highs. So the stock inside the sector is much stronger than the sector itself. The energy, for the energy names, like the one that we're looking at is where no, okay. Okay, flagging not all-time highs, but it's basically as close to possible to 52-week highs as it could be. Where this name, what was the ticker again?
NOV.
NOV. This name, yes, right now it looks amazing, but anytime you zoom out, it's nowhere near above post-pandemic highs, which is like that's like the biggest issue. Even like for SLB, this name is still kind of like getting just back to it where you have like a name like Oxy that has clearly surpassed that. Like in this, it's still a relatively weak name in the energy space, but the one that we just mentioned is even weaker, where it's not worth the risk of, very long ways of probably just a pass. Focus on a stronger oil name.
Yeah, and just from a risk standpoint as well, you have to give it to like under 18, which is $2 risk on a $20 name. You're risking 10%. I think there's better names out there for sure.
Yeah.
He's also looking at EQR, which we already went over. HQY is the next one. HQY 68.
Yeah, no, the EQR is still the best. This is just, kind of just a middle. I see like this 60, 70 level, but I all day long, I would take this EQR over the others.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, I think, for a quick trade, but at the end, like if you zoom out, it's really just sitting in between this massive range between that 90 and that 30 area. So, if you really zoom out on the weekly. Next one he's looking at is ESS. We went over that one, MAA, and he's looking at AMD off of 100 support. So maybe you want to go over that one. Tech's been super weak. I don't know what you think about this.
He wants to short 100 or he wants to buy versus 100?
He wants to buy it off support. So he's looking for a bounce. If it does bounce, I mean, for sure, but it's looking super, super ugly.
Anytime that you can like wait and buy, like anything when you can wait and buy the price at support that you want, you're going to get smoked. If you want to buy 100 and you want to bid in $100.05 and you can get $100.05, the stock's going lower. Especially now that it's like these days, like this day, this is different because this wasn't getting smoked. This was just kind of setting up, and like no one was expecting, us included, this move. We were like expecting this move, like this 10% move, not this insane 60% move. But now, you're a dollar away at pre-market. It's actually below 100 already. But anything with support, when you can get the exact price you want at support, the stock 99% of the time is going to head lower. It's the only time you get out support when it's like you have 2 or 3 minutes or a few minutes to really get that price, and then it's gone. And then you have good stock off support. Like even this day right here, January 28th, closes the day before horribly. The last 2 weeks looks horrible. Gaps down, holds 100, and you probably had 5 minutes to really buy anywhere under 101. And then after that, the trade was gone, and it went rips 30%. Here is just, I'm going to wait as long as I can, and that's when it's breaking 100, and who knows where it's going to go from there.
Yeah. Kelvin's got a few here. He's looking at Ryan, RYAN, through 40-41 area.
Yeah, I definitely see what he's looking at there. But again, it's like you just be aware that you're buying 40. Best case in the short term, you're only going to really get it to 42. That's going to be like the next area of resistance. So if you're buying 40, you're buying it versus 38, you're risking $2 to make $2. EQR would still be one where I'd rather risk $3. I have unlimited upside, or the path least resistance is in my favor. Once I'm triggered, I can risk $3 here, realistically make 10 or 12 conservatively, where in that name, you're kind of 1-to-1 risk reward wise, like real risk reward.
Yeah. Next one he's looking at is MMM 152.
That 30 name, just been like pretty beaten up lately.
Yeah.
That this is just a tough trade. I think it's just a pass for now.
Yeah, it's sitting under the 50 and the 200 MA. It's got earnings soon. Nothing I would keep it on watch, I guess, to see if it bases down here, because it is like sort of a major inflection area. Even if you zoom out to like 2016, this 150 area was important. So wanted to keep on the watch list, but not eager to jump into that one.
Just like you see this like 200 day where, for how long, when it really starts to break that, it just, that sign to really just kind of avoid it. And for now, it's like, it's going to take a long time for this name to finally like kind of get back to a place where it might be worth putting risk on.
Yeah, next one he's looking at is NXST, watching to see if previous resistance turns into support. So he's not looking to buy it today, but looking for that area to act as support and then buy back on the way up.
Yeah, I think this is just an avoid. I think this was like, this was like the easy trade. I don't know where my little circle thing went.
Yeah.
This was the easy trade. And if you were not involved in any of this, you should have no thought of wanting to get involved in this.
Yeah, it needs to base out and consolidate, and I don't even know where support will be yet.
And this was you're like a 4-month uptrend, so it's like you should expect 2 months or 3 months of this kind of pulling back. That it's not worth fighting with it.
Yeah, he's also looking at O.
Another REIT.
O through 7250.
Yeah, so this might be one, again, we were talking about REITs being strong. This, definitely is very strong, but to buy it to like today, if it was to go, it's like you're just kind of blindly chasing. If this was to kind of flag out almost versus like 69 for now, and it was to trade in this range for a little bit, then yeah, definitely through this 72 or 73 or since having a time looks great. But I think buying it right now or this week, if it's going to go in the next couple of days, it's too extended. Like like this day where it looks amazing, and it just doesn't have the legs to continue.
Yeah. Julie's looking at LDOS 110 versus 106.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I might need to pull back a little bit, but I think, it's a nice little tight flag here. This has definitely been like a pretty significant area for some time. And even like this move is to 126, like that prior high. So if we can clear this 114, you really have nothing in the way until that. So you definitely have some room.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like it.
Cool. Next one, CACI 310 versus 300. Also nice wide high.
This one looks great too. This is blue skies up through.
Yep. Blue sky through 310-ish.
Versus 295. Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. And then one more, she's got DDS buybacks through 281.
DDF?
DDS. Dillard's.
Okay. So I guess we took a trade in this one. I had it circled.
We did, yeah. We had it. We took it like 2-3 weeks ago, and it just kind of faded.
What price was she looking? 28.
281.
Okay. Yeah, I mean this base is kind of 280, 281. But yeah, I mean the more times it keeps working on this level, the more likely eventually it's going to kind of move out of this base. And if it's breaking out higher, you would expect that kind of move, back to this retest area. That could take a very long time, but for now, it would be tough to buy it like this, today or tomorrow. But if you're willing to give it kind of verse 250, that's kind of the real room you have to give for now. So it might need to just tighten up a little bit more before you want to give it, 10%. That might be a lot a lot of risk for a base breakout where.
Yeah, I think you have to give this one like a good amount of room, just because like it's really not giving us a clear support or a clear resistance. Like it'll keep triggering those like little breakouts and then fading. So that's kind of one that you have to give a lot of room to if you really want to be able to hang on to it and get that move up to 400. Maybe more of like a long term in the M1 kind of thing where you're buying this one. I don't know if swinging it right now would be the best idea.
I think this one, like, if this is really gonna go, because no one really in here is kind of screwed. Like, if you didn't get shaken out this day, you're chilling. Like, you don't really care. So no one's like climbing over each other to get into this. If this was to shake out this low and flush all these people out, that would be, because again, you mentioned before, like, it keeps like tickling this area, but like not really going. Like, no one's really like amped to get in this, for what it seems, for our assumption of it. Where if it was to shake this like low out, and then everyone would hate it and like have to chase, like that kind of could be like that shakeout to really get this name kind of going. Like, you actually even kind of see this right here. Like, it, you know, it was super tight this whole time, you know, very easy to get into it. And it shakes out that flag this day. And then it's finally pushes people, bunch of people out, and then it's kind of off to the races. So that's kind of like my feeling here. Like, it needs to really shake people out. It's too like perfect in here that no one's like excited or whatever. Like, in that, if we see that kind of action, then it'll probably be ready to go.
Yeah. Next one, we got Link looking at WFRD, which I know is on a few watch lists. It's actually on our video last week.
Yeah.
Recent IPO.
Definitely.
Really nice. Kush is looking at this one. He loves this one, but yeah, really nice VCP action, volatility contraction. So this one looks great through that 37 level in time.
Yeah, I like it. 36, 37. Yeah, definitely.
Then we got George. He's looking at BSX 4550. This one's really nice. I had this one on my watch list as well.
40. What was it? 4550.
4550. Yeah, just like on the break of this recent little resistance level.
Yeah,
right there. Yeah,
I think I definitely like that entry. I think you definitely got to be like definitely willing to add up through 46, because that's going to be like the bigger, much more significant trigger. So like that would be like a great feeler. You know, buy 42 quarter, 42, 45 half. On feelers this, whatever, 43 half, and then be ready to add like heavier through 46. So like definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Another one, Kush has got a few. He's looking at ATI 1850. I think it must have been a typo there. It's probably 2850 is what he's looking at.
This would just kind of be a pass. Steel name.
Yeah, this is a pass.
Kind of like,
next one's MDRX through 23, add through 2325.
So what was it again?
MDRX. I think it would need to consolidate a ton here. It's up. It went from $6 to $22 over the last year and a half, and it's just kind of like in this ascending channel. I think it could use some more time. I mean, I guess for like a momentum trade would kind of make sense. Like, it's high and tight flag at these highs inside day, but you got to remember these cheap names. You got to have really, really tight risk.
Yeah, for me it'd be a pass. I don't know the cheaper ones, but let's see what's
next one he's looking at. This one's really nice. XENE.
Farmer name up through 36, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, 35.25 or 36-ish.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. Yeah.
He's looking at MOH 344.
H.
Yeah, looks pretty good.
Yeah. So he was looking at the other one, definitely. I forget what the figure was. Definitely was.
It was XENE.
XENE. Oh, it's on here. Okay. Yeah. Now, I would say if it was both these like kind of healthcare farms with names, like I would take this one over.
Yeah.
But
and then he's looking at CARG Car Gurus as a short through 40.
Is this okay?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of, I guess, CarMax, the one that went up like really crazy during the pandemic. I'm thinking of that name. Short down through, what was it, 40? You said?
Yep. 240.
If it's like a little, if it's like just a little swing. But again, it's like, so much easier with these names when you want to short. It's like, let's find a name down here. So much easier to short bottom right than this is. For the name, it's still technically, top, it's in its top right corner of its daily chart. So yeah, you might get a flush down through whatever, 40 to 37, but you're going to have buyers that are going to be stepping in much more likely than if this name was taken out.
Yeah.
It's all time.
And yeah, last one before market opens here. Christopher's looking at, well, actually, he just mentioned CHTR. Looks like it wants to dump. I don't know if he's got a game plan for that.
So
it looks like it's already been dumping. But yeah, I mean, this makes a lot more sense for a short because clear downtrend, relative weakness under all the moving averages, and now just sort of basing down here. This makes a lot more sense to try to short than top right.
And the sector smoked. This is that support, like with Fred, who wanted to buy AMD at 100. That's like this charter. Like I want to buy charter at 540. It's like you definitely can get 540. Like you wait long enough, you will 100% be able to buy this low. And when you can buy that low, it's going to go to 500. So even though this is still technically top right, on its, at least its daily chart, this is as much of a bear flag as one could look for, which is unfortunate. Obviously it'd be perfect if it was at its relative low, but this is a clear H pattern, very tight risk, like this short much more than the other one.
Yeah, agreed. And that's it. 9:30. Time to trade.
All right, guys. You guys, good luck today. Any questions, post them in the chat, and we'll be back here at noon. Remember any trading lessons you guys have.
Yep. See you guys.